We're developing tonight, 6 weeks after being released as a Taliban prisoner in a highly controversial swap for 5 top terror commanders from Gitmo. The Army today announced that Sergeant Bergdahl is returning to regular duty down in Texas. Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters is a Fox News strategic analyst. Ralph, good to see you tonight. And so are you surprised that he is going back to work?
Well, he's not going back to work. They parked him in the protocol office, which is a joke in and of itself, because that's where you put really sharp people who look good, who act good, who can handle the visits of drunken congressmen on military bases. I mean, the protocol office, give me a break. The guy's military specialty is infantryman. They're afraid to put him back on a combat arms post like Fort Hood or Fort Bliss, because frankly, he'd get the crap beat out of him. He is despised. But you know, turn it around a bit. You know, Bergdahl himself, he's a pathetic loser. He's not the real issue here. It's much greater than Private or Sergeant Bergdahl, if you want to call him that. The issue is that we're on the verge of establishing a precedent that desertion in the face of the enemy is no big deal. And if Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dempsey, wants that to be his legacy to the military, fine. But Megan, I believe we are seeing a carefully modulated whitewash in which the administration is determined that, evidence be damned, Bergdahl will not be labeled a deserter, pressuring the military to at least reduce the charges from essentially the felony of desertion to a misdemeanor charge of AWOL, absent without leave. And the administration wants Bergdahl to retain full lifetime benefits, general or even an honorable discharge, all the back pay. And military people are furious about it, not because they hate Bergdahl personally, but because it flies in the face of all the codes of honor and duty and decency. And oh, by the way, Mr. President, you know, the president has lavished more attention on turning Bergdahl, an alleged deserter, overwhelming evidence that he's a deserter, despised by his comrades, turning him into a celebrity hero, paying more attention to his family than to the family of any of our wounded warriors. And maybe instead of having sympathy for Bergdahl, who apparently suffered so badly that in a mere 6 weeks he's back to duty, how about having sympathy with the soldiers who did their duty, the Marines who did their duty will never be the same, who lost limbs, who had brain damage, who are paralyzed, who suffer PTSD because they did their duty? How about the dead and the families of the dead? But no, the Obama administration wants Bo Bergdahl as their hero. Well, God help them.
You know, Ralph, they say he's innocent until proven guilty, just like anybody else who would be charged, and therefore he's entitled to work at a desk job until and if he faces charges for desertion. That's
BS. Look, in no time in the history of our military or any other military was an alleged deserter treated so well. Alleged deserters, especially when there's so much evidence against them, they're held in the brig until they're tried. And yes, they're entitled to a court-martial, but all this nonsense about, oh, we have to hear Bergdahl's side of the story. Look, if a felony is committed, the most important testimony isn't the felon's excuses. The bottom line for me remains the same. Bergdahl's comrades who served with him on the front lines believe he deserted. And I'll tell you, in the military, Megan, in the military, when your comrades turn on you, that's the ultimate proof that something is really wrong.
When I interviewed his platoon mates, and the one said, I don't know how he felt about us, but we would have died for him. It was, you know, really moving. Ralph, good to see you.
Thank you, Megan.
Well, when Vice President Dick Cheney and his daughter